Presentation today, we'll be focusing on new items and some bestsellers and some strategies for in increasing your sales. Sorry, I'm really bad at PowerPoint. So if you give me a second. All right, I'll hop off now and we'll go with that. All right, again, Lumencia, we are your multifamily project group, and we want to thank all of y'all for being here. Um, I've had several questions I just want to clear up quickly before we get rolling with today, before we roll into product today is pricing. We're still only by quote at Lumencia, and there's a couple reasons for that. One, we have no idea what the tariffs are going to be at the end of the week, or any given day. Rather than having a price list out there that people get jammed up on, we've decided just to keep this going as is by quotes because we do get them out fairly quick. The other reasons is it gives us some time to gives us the opportunity to adjust pricing based on quantities, but also on adding freight allowed if you've got a lot of different items in there and then certain items don't make the freight. That being said, I think what we're going to do next month, if things settle down, is we will give some of our best sellers a basic price that you can roll out there with. That's good for 30 days. Chinese New Year. It is upon us. So Chinese New Year is actually February 17th. But as always, we've got to get our orders in early so that they can be produced and get on a boat and get to you. So normal time from China is roughly 14 weeks. It's about 6 to 8 weeks for manufacture and then 6 to 8 weeks for shipping. So even though Chinese New Year falls on February 17th, where the cutoff is the October 30th. The reason for that being is that they've got to order parts and supplies. It takes time for those to get there. The parts and supply houses start shutting down and asking to be paid in November and December. And then most importantly, we got to box it up. Then we got to get it on a boat. And getting on a boat is not like calling Amazon, of course. You have to create a container and then you have to get space on a boat, and that takes a little bit of time. So if we get the orders in by November or by October 30th, we should be able to get them out before, so they ship before the ports close for Chinese New Year's. Orders received after this, but before the end of November, will not ship until the factories are reopened in late February or early March. That being said, we do have some manufacturers over there that may be able to move something out quickly. So if you get stuck, give me a call. But the best thing you can do is just order next week and get it done with. Bottom line, if you need it in Q1 of 2026, order by the end of next week. If you need it late Q1, Q2, order by the end of November. Bargains. I've had several companies come to me every now and then, and they've specified a job where they put on a ceiling fan or a light and it's too expensive, and they come back and they say, hey, we've got to get some money out of this. These are what I use to get the money out of it. And if you use these from the start and maybe bump your price up a little to cover you, you might be in a better shape. But the LL52-10571 ceiling fan series, it is Energy Star, and comes with 3 candelabra lights, and still, of course, works that way. We also have that as a basic ceiling fan as well in both Energy Star and non-Energy Star. The LL52-1074 comes as both a standard fan and then fan with a light kit. You're looking at, with the light kit, in the mid one teens to upper one teens. The LL52-10571 is around 110 or so in that range. So that just gives you an idea there about what they do. Vanities. The LLFL02 and LLFL03 series, they've been around for a long time. They are our go-to when you need to save money on a job. Those come in at 24, 36, and roughly 48-inch size. These are only 30K or 40K. That's how we stock them here. Although we can special order in other color temps and finishes. You're looking at, on those low 40s for the 24-inch, 52 or so for the 36-inch, and then 64 for the 48-inch. That's on the LLFL02. The LLFL 55, 24, and 539 and 554 type, we're just going to call this type J. We've got that in a rounded one as the LLFL 55, and then the LLFL 53 is more of a squared one. These are our go-to if you need 35K. I know there are a number of groups out there that like to put out 35K just to help them keep a spec. And for us, since these are made overseas, we don't have as many options in 35K. In that case, what I do is recommend you go to a selectable color temp. And these are a great bargain at that. You're looking at low 50s for the 2 foot, upper 60s for the 3 foot, and 82 for the 4 foot. And again, that comes down with quantity. Some new bargains in our surface mount is the LLFL 432 series. We got it in a 12-inch, 14-inch, and 16-inch. You're looking at 30-ish for the 12-inch, mid 40s for the 14-inch, and 50s to 60 and for the 16-inch. The pendant that you see is the one I recommend on all my basic jobs, available in brushed nickel and black. They do have a stem, so they've got a short stem, but then they've also got a cord, which makes it easier for these to hang straight. And they come with a 9-watt 30K dimmable LED lamp. You're looking at low to mid 30s on those. A great sconce, the LL62-18 series, available in brushed nickel, white, and black. And again, those are selectable color temps. Upper 30s, low 40s on those. And then for laundry rooms, etc., I know discs are taking over, but there's still a lot of people who like to have wraps in these rooms. We have a basic 2 foot and 4 foot wrap. Those wraps are also available with a pull chain or a motion sensor on them. These are 12277 volt, available in I think these have now are switched to selectable color temp. I'll have to make sure on that. I'm sorry, I don't have that in front of me right now. But the 2 foot, for example, mid 20s, add the pull chain, upper 20s with the sensor, mid 30s. The 4 foot, 39, add a pull chain for about $3 or $4. And then with the sensor, it's going to be upper 40s, low 50s. So again, some good bargains there for you to look at. As Lumencia has grown, we've tried to meet your needs on a number of items, and we found that moving into spec grade has helped us a lot. We've done a lot of linear jobs with you out there, and we want to continue doing that. We now have someone manufacturing linears for us that are doing it at a great price, and it's also a nice way to do it is that we offer these with a you select the lumen output. So on these, if you look at our spec sheets, you'll have DLF, ULF, which is down lumens per foot and up lumens per foot. And you tell us what you want, and we dial it in at the factory for you. That way you match your original spec as close as possible. We have these in a standard 2, 3, and 4 foot, but these can all be an 8 foot. These can all be linked together. We can run them in different shapes. Just get with us on that so that we can make sure that we've got it right for you. They're standard in white or black paint. We can talk about other paint colors as they're needed. But these are available in down only, of course, for a surface mount or a recessed mount. We also offer them in a pendant and a wall mount where you can do down, up, or up, down. And these will, of course, be set from the factory. For down only, you're looking at about in the 50s for per foot price, and up down in the 80s for the per foot price. So these are really good bargains. And, of course, we pass along whatever savings we have to you when we get quantity. We've got a spec grade wall bracket and also offer that as a bed light and as a stairwell light. So again, this one we can just do, I don't have the price on this because of all the different options, but as a wall bracket, we can do, just standard mount on it with forward facing LEDs, but we do have a number of options on that, like pull chains, convenience outlets, sensors. As a bed light, we can put a diverter through the middle and have up, down, up or down with a pull chain, night light, sensor, battery backup. So we offer a number of things there for you to work through. Then of course, stairwell lights, we've got several of those. The LLSW LKFS, we can add battery backup and we can add sensors to it. And those are controlled by a handheld remote. And so you get one handheld remote. We'll sell you one handheld remote and you use that for a number of them. Couple of categories we do extremely well in, and if you're not selling these, it may be something you want to keep in mind for the future. Cylinders. We have cylinders in 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 8-inch sizes, spec grade, builder grade, value grade, and everything in between. Surface mounts, of course, the pendants, up down lights, up down pendant lights, square, and then available in a number of different finishes and a number of different price points. We also have these as medium base lamp versions, so keep that in mind when you're looking at cylinders. If again you're trying to get money out of something, we've got a nice in between grade that will that we can do a little bit of customization on. And then address lights. If you are not in the address light business, you need to get out there now. We'll be setting up, if you ask us, a sales sheet for that. But basically what we do is we have a number of sconces that we can add room numbers to. And that'll be on the spec sheet on the second page of that. These are really nice numbers. The LL1843D down at the bottom, those will be silk screened onto the front of the acrylic, and that comes that way for you, so they don't have to do it themselves on the job and end up with numbers that look out of place. The other ones, and these I'm really happy with, they are acrylic numbers, and what we do is the metal is they're not glued onto the metal. The metal is laser cut for those numbers by a CNC machine. And then these numbers are actually put through and glued to a plate on the back so that you can't just knock these off. They look really good. We've got the ability to do several different fonts for these. And of course we can do custom paint, everything else, since they're made to order in China. The one thing to keep in mind about those is they are 14 to 16 weeks and they are non-cancelable, non-returnable items. So these start in the mid 50s and go on up from there. When you see one, just ask me and we'll get you a quote on it. Post tops and posts. I think y'all know we sell posts up to roughly 14 feet for what we call our everyday posts. We've got a great group that supplies those to us. Keep in mind on those, if there's less than 10, we are charged a handling fee by our OEM, and so we pass that along to you. That is a non-negotiable item. So if you happen to forget it, it's going to come out of your commission. So make sure that you keep that on there and note it if people change their quantities. We've got a number of different post tops. These are some new value post tops we've added this year. And so they're very basic. They come as they come. There are no other options available, but that saucer starts in the upper 200s, and we've got as a wattage select either up to 60 watts, up to 100 watts, or up to 150 watts. We have this colonial style. You can either get in a 30 watt or you can get in a 3 wattage select, which is 30, 60, and I want to say 90. $275 for the basic one. The other one runs about $295. And then finally the UFO fixture, mid to upper 200s on that, depending on quantity. So we do have some things that can compete with the Rabs and the Atlases out there, unless one of y'all comes to me later today and says, think again. But we'll take a look at it and see what we can do, of course. New product, and it really excited. Things have finally started to pick up again, you know, after the tariffs, after COVID, everything else. We're adding a build your own RLM lighting. We're starting with two basic warehouse shades, a 14 and a 17 inch. Those will have a number of different colors available. We have that as a corded pendant. That is a damp location pendant with an adjustable cord. But then we also have it as a stem mount and a wall mount that it would be wet location rated. And so those, we have a number of different goosenecks. We have swivels so that you can aim them. And again, we've got a number of different colors that we can order those in. And those would be wet location. We also have available a shepherd's crook to hang those to set those in as a post top. So we're going to be getting this spec sheet out pretty soon, and we'll get you quotes on that when it comes through. The LLW 193D to its right is a great looking glass and black metal wall sconce. It's about 15 watts, meets ADA, and mid 70s on that. The LLC 2018D, sorry about that, I meant to correct that, and the 2018D a pendant. Those are an 18-inch 35-watt pendant. It's black with a gold interior, and then the glass lens is slightly set inside, so it does give some nice light throughout. And you're looking at, you know, the mid 150s to 175, depending on how you do it. We can also add dimming to both of those. By the way, we do have a new dimmer that we're adding to a number of items. Our TD1 dimmer. It is either a 120 volt Triac ELV dimmer or a 120 277 volt 0 to 10 volt dimmer. The advantage of it is it can handle higher wattages than our other Triac dimmers can. It is a little bit more expensive, but it allows us to gives us the flexibility of working with that. Or if your customer's not sure how they're going to dim, they can get it this way. They just have to make sure to ask us when we go into production to preset it or for instructions for setting it themselves. LL6138 series, just a nice little simple black 2-foot and 3-foot vanity. The LLFL 2101D, that's part of our LLFL 210 series, but this one is an 18-inch, which we have not had until now. The LLRT8 has been upgraded to a selectable 5 color temp series, and we've got that in a 7, 9, and 12. These also come standard with an E26 adapter along with springs. I have these in my laundry room. I've had them there for 6 years now. They still work as great as ever. And then the LL3-1843D L, that is a new fixture. We have had the LL3-1843D in the standard size, but now we've got it in a new 20-inch height. And so for outdoor areas where you need a slightly larger presence on your wall, we've got that. These are coming in December, and the LLBD 24D and LLBD 48D, that is a great looking fixture. It is a exterior wall sconce in 2-foot and 4-foot, something we've never had before. And these are indirect lit, black metal, indirect lighting. You're looking for the 2-foot in the low 70s, upper 60s, and the 4-foot in the 130s to upper 120s. So again, a great bargain on those when you compare those outside of it. I do not have pricing yet on these others. They're still working on that price list, but a couple of different standard RLM type fixtures for exterior, a nice little glass and metal that architectural style, and then of course a standard teardrop or wall cylinders, and then a directional. In Q1, we've got some more items coming. The LOW 195D-A, black with satin nickel accents and a glass shade. Just some more higher end looks there. The LLW 448D is a downlight. We can add a back panel to that, and so that will also be available as a room number. Just another, the oval fixture, wall fixture for your nautical style, and then some more extended sizes for exterior walls. So we'll have these new ones in, these are over 2 feet. The LL3-4610D series, and with different types of things. So again, something that will compete with some of your higher end brands, because these will run in the $110, $120 range on those. So much less than what you see out there on the street. And then I want to keep in mind exits and emergencies when you're doing jobs. What we're trying to do there is make this easy for you. So we just add these on there, and then usually, depending on how the rest of the job looks, I either bump them up a little bit to cover freight so that your customer doesn't have to order from 2 places. I understand though that from talking to people that even without me bumping them up, even if I do bump them up, we're beating a number of the people on the price of our exits and emergencies. So do keep us in mind for that. And then again, it's just one group you have to keep up with. We keep up with it on the back end for you. Some general housekeeping. We're going to start getting rid of the individual emails. We had an issue this past couple months ago where Sharon was out for an extended period. And while people were monitoring her email, it was not monitored as closely as we would have liked. And so people were sending stuff in and changes there that we did not receive. So orders, send to orders@lumencia.com. We'll get them entered within 24 hours. Also, if you have any changes to your orders, send it to there as well, because there are at least 2, if not 3 people monitoring that email. Tracking, check online, go to our website. We usually get those, as soon as we get an ESD from our OEM, we put it there. And that's usually, within a couple of days. Sometimes it ships before then. But we update this every day at 4, and we send our vendors notices daily to try and get them to update. If it does not come up, or if it says TBD, send a note to tracking@lumencia.com, and they'll get with you as soon as possible. RMAs, fill out the online form. It's either for returns, for any kind of warranty work. We ask you to do that because that gathers all the information we need in one place, and we use that to maintain contact with you. We'll, as soon as we get the form, we forward it on to you with your sales order number in the email, so that it makes it easy for all of us to keep up with it. Accounting, we always send invoices to the distributor, but if you must have a copy, please contact Envoy Accounting at envoylighting.com. They take care of the back end for Lumencia. And then finally, if you need a guide to using Lumencia, you're always, we'll send this out later, but you can go and download this, which is especially helpful for new employees. If you have new people and would like a dedicated Zoom meeting or webinar, we're happy to accommodate you on that.